Welcome to Reliability Matters, a podcast for the electronic assembly industry. Each episode covers topics related to reliability, best practices, and environmentally responsible assembly techniques, with insights from experts across the electronic assembly industry. Now, here's your host, Mike Conrad.
Hello, and welcome to a very special episode of the Reliability Matters podcast. I'm Mike Conrad, and today we're celebrating the end of an incredible year. This isn't just any episode. It's a time to reflect on the journey we've been on together, highlighting some milestones and share a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's made this podcast such a success. Can you believe it? Reliability Matters has now released 159 episodes. It feels like just yesterday we started this podcast with the mission to explore how industry experts and their knowledge contribute to the reliability of electronics. And here we are, growing, learning, and making a real impact in our field. But here's what blows me away. Almost 85,000 downloads. That's not just a number. It's a testament to you, our amazing audience. Whether you're listening in your car or on your morning jog or watching this on our YouTube channel, you've made this podcast part of your journey. And for that, I am deeply grateful. This year alone, we've covered some fascinating topics, from ultra-high-density interconnects to post-reflow inspection, from thermal profiling to cutting-edge coating materials. We've explored it all. Along the way, I've had the privilege of sitting down with some of the brightest minds in the electronics industry. Each guest has brought their unique insights, helping us all better understand the intricate science and art behind building reliable electronics. To my incredible guests, thank you. Your willingness to share your expertise, stories, and even a few laughs have been the lifeblood of this podcast. Every episode is a reflection of your generosity and brilliance. I also want to give a shout out to you. Yes, you. Whether you're a longtime listener or viewer or just discovered us this year, you're the reason I do this. The messages, the comments, the emails, it's all so inspiring. When you tell me how a particular episode helps solve a problem, spark a new idea, or simply make your day better, it reminds me of why reliability matters. As we wrap up this year, I'm reminded of something I say often on this show. Reliability isn't just a goal, it's a journey. It's a series of choices, processes, and innovations that, together, ensure the technology we rely upon lives up to its promise. And this podcast, it's part of that journey. It's a space where we can learn together, challenge assumptions, and stay ahead of the curve in an ever-evolving industry. Here's a look back on our 2024 season. Episode 135 aired on January 8th and featured a conversation with Dr. Zach Peterson about best practices in circuit board design. Episode 136 aired on January 23rd and featured a conversation with Dr. Cassandra Zentner about environmentally responsible and sustainable conformal coating. Episode 137 aired on February 13th and featured a conversation with Rick Carlson about building a sustainable career with a sustainable impact. Episode 138 aired on February 27th and featured a conversation with Debbie Wade about hand soldering and rework best practices. Episode 139 aired on March 12th. The episode reviewed environmentally responsible alternatives to traditional PCB fabrication with Mark Edwards. Episode 140 aired on March 26th. Judy Warner, Julie Ellis, and Jerry Partita talked about circuit board design and acquisition best practices. Episode 141 aired on April 9th. Larry Welk, a.k.a. Professor Splice, discussed component tape splicing best practices. Episode 142 aired on April 23rd and was recorded live in Hawaii at the SMTA Pan-Pacific Strategic Electronics Symposium, otherwise known as PanPAC, and featured conversations with Dr. Chuck Bauer, Keith Bryant, and Dr. Ron Lasky. Episode 143 aired on May 14th and featured a conversation with industry legend Doug Pauls, where he spoke about his illustrious career within the electronics industry. Episode 144 aired on May 28th, featuring a conversation on education-based marketing with Rick Short. Episode 145 aired on June 11th. Dr. Andre Kleiner discussed the best practices for designing electronics to be reliable in harsh environments. Episode 146, 147, and 148 aired on June 25th, July 9th, and July 23rd, respectively. The episode was recorded live at the IPC Apex Expo in Anaheim, California, and featured conversations with Gus Mavro, Mark Stansfield, Jesper Leike, David Chu, Michael Dolan, Dalton Dodge, Michelle Ogihara, Kimberly Fagan, Taylor Wagon, and Neil Hubble. On July 30th, we released a special episode with members of the Surface Mount Technology International's Technical Committee. Jason Keeping, Jeff Kennedy, and Rob Boguski talked about the technical conference and the networking opportunities at the upcoming show. Episode 149 aired on August 6th. Joel Scutchfield and Jesper Leike discussed AOI and X-ray best practices. Episode 150 aired on August 27th. Aaron Brown reviewed the truth behind statistics. That was a fascinating episode. Episode 151 aired on September 10th. Neely Welp and Richard Nagel discuss manual optical inspection systems. Episode 152 aired on September 24th, featuring a conversation with Ibad Rahman about high reliability solder paste selection best practices. Episode 153 aired on October 8th on the subject of contract manufacturing best practices with Adrian Leal. Episode 154 aired on October 22nd. Mark Waterman talked about thermal profiling best practices. Episode 155 aired on October 28th, featuring a panel discussion on the subject of ultra-high-density interconnects. Tara Dunn moderated the discussion with guests Chris Shea, Michael Savigny, Oren Menor, and Ane Verdaya. This episode was recorded live at SMT-AI in Rosemont, Illinois. Episode 156 aired on November 12th. Joseph Feldstad talked all about flexible circuits. Episode 157 aired on November 26th and featured a conversation with Gail Towell about avoiding contamination and other reliability issues on the rework bench. Episode 158 aired on December 10th. The cast of the Decode podcast, Daniel Stanfill, Sean Kincaid, and Elias Malfavon, talked about their new podcast and the collaboration that they see within the electronics assembly industry. And that brings us to today's episode, number 159. So what's next? Well, I'm excited to say that 2025 is shaping up to be even bigger and better. We've got a fantastic lineup of guests, more deep dives into emerging technologies, and of course, a few surprises. I can't wait to continue this adventure with you. Before we close, I want to leave you with this. As we approach the new year, let's not forget the importance of the work we do. Whether you're a seasoned engineer or designer or a student just entering the field, what you do makes a difference. Reliability matters, and so do you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for an amazing year. Here's to a 2024 filled with innovation, learning, and more episodes of Reliability Matters. Have a wonderful holiday season and a happy, reliable new year. Until next time, keep learning, keep doing it right, and remember, reliability matters. See you next year.
Thanks for listening to the Reliability Matters podcast. Join us on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month for new episodes of Reliability Matters.